Welcome back to another episode on the Loudmouth Show, guys. Today we are joined by Rohan Maglani, who is the founder of Ground Reality Sports, and Ankit Kedia, who's heading Absolut-E-Gaming. Hey, guys.
Hey man,
What's
how's it
up,
going, man?
bro?
All's well, man. All's well at my end. Again, the Premier League 2021 season is finally about to end. We'll get to see many emotions. People might be enthralled. They might be sad after looking at the results that venture out for them. Again, the drama will be there till the 90th minute tomorrow. Um, what do you guys think? Who's going to make it to the top third and fourth position, and why?
Well, I think
Well, I
that
think, sorry, Rohan,
it's
go
a
for it.
tough one. It's a tough one. I feel, honestly, because Chelsea look like they are in prime position to finish third. Liverpool is playing Palace on the last day, which is again something which
Yeah,
it seems like a routine victory for them. But then you have Leicester and Spurs playing, so that's also a big game again. So anybody a little bit of a hiccup also in the game. It the whole season counts for that.
right. Um, Ankit, what are your thoughts on the same? Given that Liverpool have a superior goal difference, man, they lead by one goal when we compare them to Chelsea, and they have a good +4 against Leicester. Do you think Leicester holds it in them to score 4-5 goals against Tottenham? Given that Harry Kane has scored 16 goals against Leicester itself.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, I feel Liverpool have, we're seeing some new spirit in Liverpool in the last few fixtures. Alisson scoring that goal was so beautiful. I don't know, the way the team came together, it like really gave me the feel from last season, which I felt quite often was missing in this season from Liverpool. That motivation wasn't there for some reason. Maybe they won so much in the last two seasons that suddenly that motivation needs some
Yeah,
sort of relighting, reigniting, man. So,
true.
and speaking about Leicester and Spurs, well, anything could happen in that. Ryan Mason, not that great so far. Obviously, it's very early days for him also, but
True.
not proving to be very sound with attack.
Yep.
Defensively, well, they're here and there. But Leicester scoring that many goals, well, we've seen last season, Leicester can really surprise you. They can score 9 goals if they want. They can score, I mean, you
Yeah.
never know, man, with Liverpool. I mean, with Leicester. So,
And the funny thing is, your team knocked them out on the final day, right? Otherwise, they would have been in the Champions League this season too.
yeah, I mean, that was exciting for me, to be honest. And I mean, I can't complain. I don't want to talk much about it, but I'm really happy, honestly, and very content with that.
Right. Rohan, do you want to add something, or let's just get on straight with the matches? What do you think?
No, we can get on straight with the matches. But what
I,
a final
I
day
would
which
like to
we
add
are
something.
waiting for.
Rohan.
Yeah, yeah, Ankit, go for it.
So, all in all, I think it's very exciting days for the fans who came back
Yeah.
last game, and 10 other teams who are going to be facing the fans for the first time in so many months and after so many game weeks. Honestly, me sitting in front of the TV, I for the first time this entire season, I've put on my TV 45 minutes before
Yeah.
just to watch the pre-show, just to watch the fans, just to hear the sound in the stadium in front of my TV. So I can't even imagine these players what they must be feeling coming back to their fans, man. So really exciting times, to be honest.
Right.
But at the same time, you say exciting, but at the same time, nervous because your fans are coming back on the last day of the season. Now, for example, I was thinking about it. Chelsea is playing Villa, and we've seen Villa how they, on a good day, and correct me if you don't agree, but on a good day, I believe that on a good day for Villa, I believe that they can actually get a point at against Chelsea.
Right.
Especially
I Yeah.
I think that's a key point also. I mean,
True. Rohan, you know what I think about Aston Villa, man? They were contesting for relegation with the same squad last season, right? Um, and this season too. I mean, remarkably, they've done so well. They've shown a great shape the entire season. I mean, with the likes of Jack Grealish, McGinn. Look at the way Ollie Watkins, man. He's playing some amazing football, right? He's covering the ground well. The number 9 role, he's fully complementing it. And I think he's also contesting for the starting 11 for the England call-ups, right? So
100%.
yeah, Aston Villa's got a very good score in terms of again they're very resilient also defensively. They've shown great vigor this season. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. Like what you said is correct. Chelsea going to Villa Park last day of the season, anything can happen. Fans are there. The pressure's on Chelsea. I don't think Villa really care anymore in terms of where they finished. They've had a good season for their, for what they had. Also, we must
True.
remember that Jack Grealish was injured for almost like maybe 30% of the season, and they've still
Right.
been able to grind out results. They've had some big positives, especially in their defense. I think Martinez has come in and he's been phenomenal. I think Mings has been phenomenal. Konsa has
True.
been phenomenal. I think there's a lot of positives that this Villa team can take into the next season.
Right. The only negative I think is John Terry assisting Dean Smith because I think John Terry really is a Chelsea supporter by heart. But yeah, I think if Chelsea lose this match, I think it'll all come on to John Terry's feet. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. And my only thing is like about this home and I mean about this fans coming in. Although we noticed that in the last game week, uh, there were only 4 home wins. Even out of the 10 fixtures, there were 4 home wins, 5 losses, five
yeah,
home losses, and 1 draw. So it's not like the fans. Obviously, there are teams that are looking to fight for something. Like Rohan said, Aston Villa don't really have something to fight for because if they're going to stay in the same position if they win, and
true.
Chelsea obviously much more to fight for. So I
I think
really see
I
Chelsea
think a
taking.
team, a club which has nothing to lose will be more confident, with their display. And I think Chelsea have bottled it because of again chance creation is not a problem, but conversion is a problem. That's what I've observed personally this season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I mean, it's not like you said, like you rightly said that if you have nothing to lose, you play with more valor, you play with, your mind is free, and you play probably better football, which we kind of
Yep.
saw with United and Fulham last game week. Fulham obviously had nothing to play for, and the way they played was amazing. So obviously anything can happen here, but I still feel Chelsea will take this one, and I don't see them bottling this one for sure.
Right. And the key point we missed out on is Jack Grealish's inclusion in the squad shows a different array to Aston Villa, right? He just came back from an injury in the last game and they beat Tottenham. Um, that was a pretty dampening defeat for Tottenham, to be honest. Again, what do you guys feel when we compare Chelsea and Aston Villa? Which one standout player would you choose for Chelsea and similarly for Aston Villa? Who has stood out for you guys this season?
I mean, of course, for Aston Villa, it would no doubt be Jack Grealish because you can just see that as soon as he comes into the squad, apart from the results, there's so much of a confidence within the squad also when he's a part of that lineup, when he starts, when he comes onto the pitch. So I think, of course,
Yeah.
for Aston Villa, it is Jack Grealish. Their defense again has been consistent, in the season in how they play. It's a very good defense also. For Chelsea, I think that the key players. I mean, everybody is trying to get a spot now to play the Champions League final against Man City.
Yeah.
So whoever gets a chance will go out and try to, make sure that they have their best games because everybody wants to start that game against Man City in the Champions League final. But I think, of course, you have your usual players, which are Werner, which are Havertz, which are Pulisic. These guys will obviously be one of the guys who Chelsea will count on for to win their last game.
Right. And also, I don't know if you are in agreement with this. If Chelsea really get out of the top four, they still have a chance of participating in the next season's UCL, given that they win this season's Champions League final, right? And that too against Manchester City. We know how big Pep really wants the title, and we know that he'll be going all in for it. Before we move on to the next game again, there's a player, a very famous player from Argentina, Emi Martinez, who was in your squad, Arsenal. What feelings were you going through when he actually took a turn and he was forced to join Aston Villa? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
Heartbreak.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a heartbreak because, honestly speaking, he came into the team and he started playing at a very, very crucial time during last season, during the end of the season when Leno got injured. And Arsenal was in the quarterfinals, Arsenal was in the semi-finals, and then the finals of the FA Cup, which means that they were all pressure games. Now, a keeper to keep so well in games which are, when you're under pressure, that is something that really counts. And Emi Martinez over Leno is definitely a better keeper to have when he's in the box, especially on the set pieces, because he's tall, he's big, he makes his reach is very good to the ball, so he gets there and he's very comfortable, so the defense doesn't panic. At that time, I actually thought that he should be the number one and he should be given the go to start the Premier League season. Obviously, the sale happened, which was not a good. I mean, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, I don't think that anybody wanted him to go, but it was because of the fact that he went that then we got some funds to get Partey in. So it was a kind of a trade-off. So heartbreak, as you say, Ankit.
But also, I think Matty Ryan's inclusion, the Australian goalkeeper's inclusion from Brighton to Arsenal has induced some competition again for Bernd Leno, because he dipped his form down, right? He had a dip in his form when Emi really left the team and he was alone there, and his shot stopping, he was conceding many goals from here and there. And you have a match against Brighton itself, right? You'll be contesting for either the Conference League or the Europa League. You need to cement your position. Do you think, when we talk about Arsenal as a team, Leeds hold some capacity to overlap them in the final on the final game day, or do you think they'll be pretty much ahead of them?
Leeds holds all the capacity. I don't think that it's going to be a pretty final day for Arsenal, to be honest, in front of the home fans. In fact, if you ask me that how Mikel Arteta has survived for so long is also because of the fact that there are no fans at the stadium, because the pressure would be more than 100 times, with fans coming in the stadium. So anything can happen. Brighton are a very good team. They've been playing amazing football. We've seen that in their last two games also, especially when they played big opponents. And I think that more than anything else, it's just so sad that Arsenal is now competing for the Europa League or for the Conference League. I mean, I'd rather finish 9th or 10th at this point of time and not be involved in any of those leagues, so that people who are handling the club can understand what is happening and where the team actually stands. So that's what I feel.
Right. So let's just get back to the Champions League slot. Sorry, go on. Go on.
Something I would like to point out over there, that in the last 5 fixtures, meetings between Arsenal and Brighton, Arsenal have managed to win just 1 game out of the last 5 fixtures that they've had.
There you go. Thank you for that stat, Ankit. So sweet of you. You're sitting.
No, but I think he's bringing in some good juju here, so I think Arsenal might win this.
That is because Ankit is sitting pretty in the second spot, basically. So he's very happy. No, but I think United have done phenomenally well, this season.
They have. To be honest, when they started off the season, I thought they'll actually bottle it. But surprisingly, they came on the top, man. Look at Manchester City too. Both Manchester clubs were faring so badly, towards the end of 2020. And now look at them. They've cemented their top 2 positions, man. It's amazing how they've played. But Ankit, what do you think, man? Are you going in for Chelsea for the 3rd position, or do you think Chelsea might lose the next fixture against Villa, given that Liverpool are playing Crystal Palace and Leicester are playing Tottenham? What are your thoughts there?
Well, my 3 and 4 places are fixed. 3 is Chelsea and 4th is going to be Liverpool. And I have no doubts about both these two going through.
Right. I think the Liverpool fixture will be pretty easy for us to deduct, because I think we've already beaten them 7-1 in the reverse fixture, right? Again, this might turn out to be, it should be a Liverpool win, given that they're playing at Anfield. Finally, with the 12th man coming in, Roy Hodgson will be ending his 45-year-old career, and it's been quite an impressive...
That's why you may be in for a surprise, because of his ending his career. So, you never know. He might just end on a high. What happens? No, I think we should ask you the questions now. So what happens in that case?
I think it'll be devastating, man. I think it'll be an embarrassment for the entire club, given that you've lost out on the Champions League spot. Something what Brendan Rodgers would have done if he would have stayed with Liverpool. But I think it's happening to Jurgen Klopp. Shouldn't happen most likely. But if it does, then it'll be quite devastating, man. For me as a fan, I've seen us play Europa through and through, and now I'm in that position where I feel like, okay, we deserve to be in the Champions League for some time. So let's just be comfortable with that thought.
Well, I don't think, honestly, Crystal Palace, obviously, they're missing out on Eze, I think, in the last fixture, who's also been
Yep.
pretty instrumental in their attack. Obviously, Zaha been back, but he's showing a little bit of shade, but he's still not in top form. And as we know, Zaha from last few seasons, always towards the end of the season, he kind of performs because he's, I don't know, people, we keep saying he's hoping for a bigger transfer, bigger transfer, bigger transfer. But well, this is the last game of the season, and I don't know. I don't see honestly Crystal Palace doing it, man. So I mean, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would be pretty relaxed about it. At the same time, I'm feeling a bit jittery, but more
Yeah.
relaxed than being jittery. That this is an easy fixture for you guys for sure.
And also, I personally think, man, that Wilfried Zaha, if you look at him, he's sort of gone down in the pace department. You know, he's lost a little
Yeah.
bit of speed. He could play from the number 9 or from the winger, the flank, right? Now, when he tries going inward, he struggles a bit, man. He's unable to win those duels. He cannot dribble past defenders really neatly. You know, he's struggling a bit, is my observation. But again, he's trying to make a huge ass transfer is impossible for me. He's the most standout player in Crystal Palace if you look at them play. But if you bring him to a team like Leicester, Manchester, again, United, City, anywhere,
He's
I don't
dying to
think
come
they
to
even
Arsenal.
he is. I don't think he'll get a chance in the starting 11, man. That's just my personal take on that. I think Arsenal have better wingers. Even Nicolas Pepe has stepped up well. Even you've got Aubameyang who can play as a number 9 winger. You can play Martinelli, Saka. You have ESR, man. All these, they're very creative, man. Arsenal, the team, is actually very good in the attacking department. I think Mikel Arteta is not adept enough to carry the squad, a big squad.
Hmm.
I think he's still on Lampard's stature, to be honest, which is where I think if he manages a smaller club, he'll do better, man. I think experience counts here a lot.
Yeah, there's no doubt in that. In fact, I think one of the only positives in this entire season, from a fan, from a watching viewership perspective, also is that the Arsenal youngsters have really shown promise. You know, like you mentioned, these 3, 4 boys. I think Karen Tierney also included in that. I think that these eventually it is you want to see exciting football, and these are the guys who, I mean, Arsenal have had a horrendous season. It's the worst season ever in their Premier League history. We'll probably finish the lowest ever. No Europe for the first time. You know, proper Europe. No Champions League. No Europa League. So, I mean, the if you have to take away from the season, there are probably 2 takeaways for me in this entire season. Only listing out the positives. One is obviously these youngsters, and I think the second thing attributes to the fact that Arsenal has had a very decent season defensively. Now, normally Arsenal is known to be very shaky defensively. I think we've had only one bad result when I'm talking about a number like a 3-1 or a 4-1 this season. I think that came against Man City when we played them at home. That was the only game in which we conceded so many goals. Otherwise, yes, Arsenal have not been too creative. We've not scored too many goals, but I think the defense is somewhat looking to be in shape. The youngsters are showing promise. So I think that's how we go on to the next season with that hope in our hearts.
Right. Why don't you guys give your predictions for the Liverpool and Crystal Palace game, and we'll quickly move on to the Tottenham game. Yep.
1-1 for the Liverpool Crystal Palace.
Oh, come
Oh,
on, man.
really? Bro, I was expecting fireworks over there, man. I'm going for a 3-0 to Liverpool. With
Wow.
Salah getting 2 and Mane getting the. I mean, if you allowed such deep predictions, yeah, but yeah, 3-0 to Liverpool.
I think I'll go in with the 2-1. Very kind of a diplomatic kind of a thing.
You're just being safe and you're trying not to jinx it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. This is the reverse psychology I've implied. But are you guys
Yeah,
into
we all
FPL
do.
also? Do you
Yes.
go with the fantasy
Big
Premier League?
time.
You do,
Big time.
right? I haven't touched it since the past 8 weeks because I had Liverpool players ahead and I kind of got messed up with all the goal scoring not happening. So it was a
Well,
bad
I mean,
FPL campaign for
talk
me.
about FPL. I already have Salah and TA, and I am contemplating on between bringing Robertson and or Mane. So I don't know which one who to bring in from the two of them. Because I need a final push in my mini leagues where a lot of money is involved. So hoping for a last and final push.
Right. Yeah, Rohan, you were saying something, man.
Yeah, I mean, FPL has been very bad for me actually this year. I've been
Right.
pathetic at FPL.
Hence the
But yeah, I
silence.
mean, it's like this. Just can't do without it, basically. Still, just
Right.
keep on playing, keep on playing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, let's just move on to the next fixture. It's Leicester versus Tottenham. Again, we've seen Harry Kane has actually scored 16 goals alone
Yeah.
against Leicester. That's the highest the record that he holds against the Premier League club. What do you guys think with the likes of Jamie Vardy, Madison, who's had an erratic season? Tielemans has been playing amazing football as a number 8. NDD's also been a little erratic here and there. Defensive-wise, I think Johnny Evans was the missing element in the Newcastle, Southampton, and also the game against Chelsea that they recently played. He's the one who's organizing them defensively, but we've seen Wesley Fofana turn up. We've seen the fullbacks turning up pretty well-rounded. Pereira has been struggling after the seasonal injury that he got. I think he suffered an ACL last season, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And Castagne, and I think there's another Thomas who's he's
Yeah.
a teenager and he just came from the ranks. And he's also developing into a pretty good left foot back. But I think overall they're well rounded and they've got a great shape to show when they're on the defensive. But on a counter-attacking situation, they usually relied on Harvey Barnes' pace, right? And he's been missing since 2-3 months now, which is where I think they've given in because of a low squad depth, and they've been losing out on form, and that's what happened after the FA Cup victory too. They lost to the same team that they beat for the FA Cup. What do you guys think? What is going to happen against Tottenham though?
Ankit.
Well, I think Leicester is going to take this one. I don't, because I'm just saying in terms of like how Ryan Mason has been performing the last few since he's taken over, he's not been able to somewhat get the best out of some of his players. But at the same time, if contradictory statement that yeah, I mean some players are also doing well, whether it's Son and stuff. But I just feel that Leicester probably have more to lose over here, and they definitely see themselves taking, especially after the last week's FA Cup victory, obviously uplifted spirits, and I see them. I don't see them. I don't see Spurs being able to stop Leicester.
Fair enough. Rohan?
Yeah, I agree with Ankit. I think also because I think also Leicester has last year. We mentioned this earlier in the conversation. They dropped points against United on the final day. They had a good season. I think they would have learned from that. And like Ankit mentioned, their confidence is at a very good level at the moment. They played some really good football against Chelsea also, in their last game. So I think that I mean I am an Arsenal fan, so I definitely hope Leicester win. I mean, who cares about Spurs, right?
That's true. I'll be sharing the window for you guys so it's easier for you to see which team is contesting for the Europa as well. Can you see the window?
Yes.
I don't want to see this window.
mind the gap, bro. Mind the gap.
Mind the gap. Exactly that.
What do you think? We can see West Ham and Tottenham are again contesting for the same position. You spoke about Leicester defeating Tottenham. What if Everton win their game? They'll kind of oost out Tottenham from the Europa race as well. They might end up into the Conference League, which is again a heyday for Arsenal fans. But do you really think that's possible, given that Everton have also had a very erratic season? We've seen Ancelotti deploying all his attackers, and still they don't give the performances that we expect from them. As a Liverpool fan, I'm very happy that Everton are struggling, but what are your thoughts on the same?
Well, I think honestly about the City and Everton fixture, especially if we talk about it.
Yeah.
Last 2 game weeks we've seen where Pep is obviously giving his other like squad people a chance, whether Scott Carson and and he's also giving a and Pep's mind no one can get into. I don't think Pep himself can get into his mind until the game week, but he obviously turns things around, and I feel he is preparing for the Champions League. Plus, this is the first home fixture with the fans. There's going to be the trophy is going to be lifted, so I'm sure City for this fixture they might not want to really mess around. They might really be looking to take this one in front of their home fans and right after that lift the trophy. So they might want to win this and go into good spirits while lifting that trophy. So
Right.
Everton have it tough. I feel Everton definitely have it tough in this one. It's not going to be as easy as we've been thinking. Although obviously Brighton defeated City last week, the defense was in shambles. But I somehow don't see Everton bothering City, especially because even they've been off their gas a bit. Like you mentioned, they've had a pretty erratic season. So yeah, I mean, City I think could just nick this one.
Right. What do you think, Rohan?
Yeah, I don't see how Everton actually will get 3 points. Adding on to all the points that Ankit mentioned, I also feel that this is their last game now before the Champions League final, right? So he will definitely play a very strong squad because it's not possible that he doesn't give his key players game time, just before a week before the final or something like that. So I think that KDB will play. I think his defense is something, the defense we see tomorrow will be the same defense he'll probably use in the final also, because I'm sure he wants to organize that bit. Ahead also, I feel that he will start with Foden. I think he'll start with, how he's gone. Foden, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan. I don't think that Sterling, Ferran Torres will really get a chance in this game because, I mean, they've not been really consistent this entire season. But so I think pretty strong team. City will put up a strong team, I feel. Maybe not for
Right.
the entire 90 minutes, but definitely for 60, 65 minutes for sure.
Right. And the third team, which is contesting for the Europa position again, is West Ham, who are facing Southampton. We know both teams carry great attacking build-ups. They've got a good output in terms of the goal-scoring ratio. Defensively, also they show up. Sometimes they don't. Again, we can't really rely on such teams because they're very average if we see them as a squad in a whole. What are your thoughts? Who's going to win the West Ham and Southampton game?
I think they're going to be fireworks over here again. West Ham really, I'm really one of the teams that I'm really impressed this season is with West Ham. Some standout performances throughout the season. Obviously, the talk of the man to talk about is Jay Lings. He's come up from nowhere, and Saints. Obviously, Southampton have been a little on and off again, but defensively not that sound this season, like how they were last season, and not that much incentive to play for going into this game week because even if they win, they're still going to be a bottom 10 team. Whereas West Ham obviously having a lot at stake in this game. Europa plays guaranteed, which is happening after so many years for them, and definitely the team. If you keep seeing their social media. Also, the way the team is bonding behind the scenes, it's amazing, and that's what I think David Moyes has done to the team. And I don't see such a crucial fixture at the depth of the season. I don't see them bottling up. They'll definitely be united, and the bubbles are going to keep flowing, I think.
What do you think, Rohan?
I think it'll be a draw, honestly. I don't think that West Ham have that attacking prowess at the moment. They've been struggling to get a few goals. If you look at it, Souček has been one of the main contributors in the team. Has 10 goals, I think, this Premier League season, which is phenomenal for a CDM. I think Southampton will be aware of the fact that it's West Ham's game to choose, and Southampton, Danny Ings has been brilliant. I mean, he's very consistent. One chance and he's going to put it in. So I actually will go for a draw. But I would just like to ask Ankit, now that he's mentioned Jay Lings. Ankit, would you be happy if Jay Lings came back to Manchester United?
Well, it doesn't matter if I'll be happy. I don't think he's going to be happy because although he's done great, but there's a lot he needs to do to fight for that place because we're anyway having troubles now fielding our best 11 players out there. With Cavani in the mix now, Bruno doesn't. He's a horse. He's not been. I don't know. He doesn't take rest, and he's out there every game. And it's very difficult. We all know to replace a Bruno, and especially with obviously, I really feel sorry about him. But Van de Beek, a phenomenal player, not getting enough chances. Again, why? Because of probably Bruno, because that's his position. Maybe a little defensive, but I don't know. I don't see Jailings being happy. I mean, no, I don't see that happening. I don't see there's a spot for Jailings in the team, to be honest.
But Rohan, I wanted to add here something. I think for people like Lingard, who they actually stand out in teams which are very average. Even if you play him in Crystal Palace, he will provide you with the width. But if you play him in United, I think all players are star-studded. The quality that they ooze is exceptional. So I think which is why he wasn't really working out well over there, because he wasn't above them. He may be at the same level or little notch below them. You see Paul Pogba, the way he plays, he's very dynamic at the left position. You see how he complements the attackers, even though if you have a Anthony Martial from somewhere this season, he didn't work out well for you guys. But still, look at Cavani. He matches so well, the runs that he makes. They complement one another, that's important. I think Jesse Lingard doesn't really stand out in the squad, if you bring him back to United.
Fair enough. I think I mean it's very similar to Willock at Newcastle, right? I mean he scored in 6 games now continuously. One of the things is that he never stood out in the Arsenal team. Also, that you can also blame Mikel Arteta on the way he's playing, but yeah, I mean these players, they deserve, I mean, a chance. They go, they perform well, but there are many things now to complete the transfer. The monies have to be matched, the wages have to be matched, and there's a very good chance that all these things in a season like this don't happen. So, of course, while United are looking to offload him and sell him to West Ham, I'm sure that I mean, it's not going to be that easy also to do this entire deal.
But I would like to add over here a point here that when we speak about players like Joe Willock and Jesse Lingard, I wonder that why does it happen? I mean, in United, there's so many players in the past we've had, whether it's Memphis Depay, whether it is whoever these people, and Lukaku, they leave the club and they start performing. Similar with Arsenal, there's so many players who leave the club and they start performing. Is it down to? I feel it's down to the players' mentality, because when you're in this big club, I don't know, maybe you're not grounded anymore. You think that you've achieved a lot. And when you get out of that club, when you're thrown out of the club or shown the door, then you start waking up, that, okay, now maybe I need to do something about my life. I imagine going from Arsenal to a Newcastle. A Willock must be like, what have I done with my life? I need to probably, prove myself. Why I have been this guy. Who am I? They probably reinvent themselves, and maybe these performances come out the way they have been coming.
Yeah, but that reinvention is also because of the manager, right? Like the manager gives you a particular role when you go to like if you're at a Newcastle, your role will be very different than what you are at an Arsenal. Basically, you get into those positions, your positioning, the responsibility the manager gives you on the pitch, it's all very different compared to like a Jesse Lingard playing for a Man United, or a Jesse Lingard playing for a West Ham, or Willock playing for Arsenal, or Willock playing for Newcastle. So I also feel that, I mean, see, the players, the players can't deteriorate suddenly overnight, right? I mean, it's more about the fact that who can manage the players. Like that, I blame Mikel Arteta this season a lot, because I feel that players like Willock, he's not able to manage, and Steve Bruce has got better results out of Willock, in his in whatever he's played for Newcastle.
Well, to be honest about Jesse Lingard, on the same hand, a lot of managers have tried. No one could get the best out of him.
Yeah, probably.
Although he had one season, although half a season he had somewhere, he did a decent job. But I feel at least United, maybe if I can speak about them, I think it's more down to these players' mentalities, that when they come to United, they start feeling that they've done a lot with their life and they've really made it. But it shows down to the performance. They don't really show it in the performances, and when they're shown the door, that's when they reinvent themselves. At least with United, I feel majority of them, the mentality is that.
One thing which we always shy away from is we don't discuss the mental or the psychological pressure these players are under. Jesse Lingard, for example, you play for a big 6 team, man. The peer pressure will always be there. You'll get more nudges, more Nixon. You'll have the media limelight always. So I think that pressure also, some players aren't able to handle it. And I've seen this also in the Premier League era specifically. Look at the creative players who have failed. Look at how Oscar failed. Look at Jack Wilshere, he failed. I mean, look at so many. Lucas Pizon, he was supposed to be again one of the young prospects Chelsea had signed. He never got an opportunity to stay at Chelsea. Got loaned out 12, 13 times, man. It is insane how they've been managing these players out, But
True.
that's just a personal opinion, man. I think creative players need more work rate. They need more twists and turns, and their ankles given, their legs given, which is where even Jack Wilshere suffered many injuries. And look at Theo Walcott, who thought he'll reignite his career with Southampton, his boyhood club. I mean, you've got many players, man, who've set the right examples. In terms of showing that mentally they did come to pressure, but now they are sound and safe. Look at the way everyone is playing right now. Premier League has gotten really competitive. Maybe because of the COVID situation altogether. Maybe because everyone was under the same pressure and they all came out to perform well. Teams like Aston Villa, Newcastle are coming out. Leeds out of nowhere. They got promoted and they were on the 10th position. So I think it all adds up. Right. But yeah, what do you think about the Europa final? Your verdict for the Europa positions before we move on to the other teams.
Go for it, Ron.
I'm going with Man United because I want the reverse to happen. So I'm going to say Man United. But yeah, I mean, Man United clear favorites, man. No chance. I mean, they've been a phenomenal team this season. I think, Ankit and me were chatting when the season started. And one of the things was that United fans at that time did not really know that what are they in the season for. People were not sure whether United would be in the top 10, would be fighting for top 4, would be fighting for the title. It could have been any, and they've done really well to, cement that number 2 position, to be consistent number 2 for a little bit of time. They did put pressure on Man City also, of course. But I think that Ole also has handled the squad so well. It's been and again we have with major players like Bruno, of course, but for a lot of time they didn't have Paul Pogba also this season, or they didn't use him rather this season for many games. So kudos to United. I think easy win for them against Villarreal.
Right.
Well, talking about two things here. First, I think when you mentioned about the Europa League positions.
Yeah, I mentioned positions.
Yeah. So position-wise, I feel the top 6 remains the way it is as of now. Obviously, first 2 cemented, 3 and 4 Chelsea, Liverpool. 5th, I see again Leicester taking it, West Ham taking it, and the 7th place, I feel. No, I feel Arsenal, man. I feel Arsenal have it.
Yeah.
I feel Arsenal getting that seventh place, because Spurs, obviously, if we are talking about Leicester and West Ham winning, so we are also talking, and the City winning, we are talking about Spurs and Everton losing, and and Arsenal, I feel they have it, man. They've been good last few game weeks, but it's Arsenal again, hot and cold. But I feel they have it. And fans, facing the fans also, I think they should take it. I'll be disappointed if they don't win. I'm sorry. But I mean, I'm sure you will be.
Very disappointed. But yeah, I mean, 3 in a row for Arsenal, so
we
I
don't
think
write a fairy tale. Don't write a fairy tale.
Good things, I think. Yeah, even when the season starts again, I think it'll be like a fresh start for Arsenal in a way that he'll be able to contemplate which options are best. Even defensively, Rohan, I think there was a time when Gabriel was leading you guys, and then there was a time when he was on the bench, and David Luiz came in with Holding. That pairing was also decent, but again, I don't think he still knows which is the best defensive centre-half pairing. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is that he changes it just before a very important game or on a very important game, which that is, I don't see. I understand that managers take time to settle into their squad, to make their squad improve. We've seen that example with Ole. But I mean, there are various decisions which Mikel Arteta has taken. It's the decision making. It's not about the performance. It's the decision making which I am against, and hence I feel that he should also be. I mean, he should leave the club at the end of the season gracefully rather than getting sacked. Because, I mean, from his decision making, I've not even seen one positive till now. This all season. I think many of the games we've been costed many games because of his bad decision, his bad substitutions, and his timings, his I don't know. It's just that he's not convincing enough at this point of time.
Right. I think this is enough for you guys. Want to talk about something else also?
Usually, what do you cover on your show?
So usually I used to do previews and reviews week in, week out, right?
Okay.
Now, since the ending is near, so we thought we'll do the team of the year as well. So I'll be doing the next one will be TOTY. And the
Mhm.
one before this again was Premier League in a crux. So
Correct.
I discussed the Premier League in a crux with my mates. So I'm just like trying to end the season, give it a good ending, and also now Euros are gonna start, so we'll have a proper discussion about the fixtures, about the teams, about the players, and all that too for the Euros too.
Hmm.
So I usually don't like keeping it very cohesive and all, because otherwise people struggle in finding good points, which is why it was again a very open-ended discussion.
Yeah,
So I
fair
think
enough.
your brain ticks in more if you know there's no we're not
Yeah, there's no,
fixating on one thing.
absolutely, I agree, man.
Right.
I don't know. I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but another point I could add about a standout, maybe I've written down about maybe talking points of this season. One team, 2 points I had. So should I just cover that if you want?
Yeah. Go on, man. Anything.
Yeah. So my main talking points from this season, I think there are two. I mean, obviously there are quite a few, but the main thing that I've realized over here is that are the big six still the same that there was 2 years ago? Are we still talking about the big six being the same? Because there are a few teams that have dropped out. Rohan, look away right now. A few teams that have dropped out from the top six, and one team that is really replaced consistently, I think, probably Leicester City in the
For
last
sure.
few seasons. They've
Definitely.
shown the fight. They've shown how they really want to be there, whether it's winning Carabao, FA Cup like this season, or the performance last season, or winning a few years ago, obviously the Premier League also. Uh, and they are definitely trying to cement their spot in the top six. And it's a big wake up call for Arsenal. Rohan, obviously you'll agree with that. It's a big wake up call because that spot is going away. Top four has gone away for Arsenal. Top six is soon in the next 1-2 years. If there aren't turnaround of results, I think it is something that Arsenal are in danger of. So I mean, and I do understand the frustration. And as a United fan, I feel bad for Arsenal fans also because we have been in that position in the last few years where we've seen our team getting weakened, whether it's management decisions, whether it's coach mentality, whether it's the mentality of the team. We've seen a lot of it, and we feel the pain. I feel the pain of any club that has so much history going to this, coming down to this. But nonetheless, hope should be alive because touchwood, it's not been too much time, but we are seeing this turnaround with United, with the mentality change, with the which Ole has brought in. Uh, Even though he's facing so much troubles from up top, he's faced so much backlash from the media, but he has shown the true valor and the true DNA is very important, which I think he has shown. And yeah, and I was just hoping that even the your three veterans of Arsenal who are leading the change of ownership, who are leading that
Spotify.
side. Yeah, so I was pretty happy if that was happening because the people who have played for the club realize and know the fabric of the club, and I was hoping to see that change with Arsenal because obviously I loved our United and Arsenal rivalry that we had back in the days, and I want to see it
True.
reignited. Because honestly, like City is just running away with it, and there's no comparison with United City right now. So I need to pick up these Arsenal boys, wake up and come on, let's fight. Rather than fighting with each other, let's fight with these other people now. And yeah, so that was one of the points. So you all have any thoughts about that?
But I think City has leveraged their position well enough with all the oil money that they have. But also, I miss out, to be honest, I really miss the rivalry that Arsenal and United fans shared. The animosity was real, man. I could feel
Correct.
it even watching as a kid on the screens. I used to watch only Thierry Henry games and only Wayne Rooney games, man. It used to give you another thrill altogether. Used to
Absolutely.
I was habitual of seeing both these teams scoring 1 or 2 goals in the first half. That was the football that we used to see. And
Absolutely.
now look at how the facet of the game has changed altogether, man.
Yeah.
It's very shocking.
Yeah. I
And
mean, this.
and I
Sorry.
think you can base it all down to performance analytics also. I don't know if you guys know this. Have the best performance analysts in the entire Premier League. That's
Okay.
how, even with such a small squad, they've been nicking in those ranks. Squad depth is almost bleak. You can compare it to Wolves. You can compare it to even Liverpool, for that matter. Even Wolves, man, I was pretty shocked. They were on the seventh position for two consecutive seasons, and now look at them. They've been struggling a lot, which is why Nuno's departing. So.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and this shows about the mentality of the club, man. Like Wolves, who knew about them 4 years ago, and suddenly now they're finishing 12th and they're firing their manager, man. I mean, that speaks highly of the club's mentality and the club's management, the ambition that they
True.
possess. It's amazing, and that honestly, I feel clubs like United and Arsenal, we lack that from the top. That management over there are not worried or concerned about it. Anyway, let's not get there. It's a little hard, painful topic. But another talking point, another team that I would really, I mean, I'm sure all of you will agree, and everyone watching would agree to this, is Leeds United. The club
Oh,
that
yeah.
they are, the manager that there is, the mentality that there is. Yeah, there's no words for that. I mean, there was a graph yesterday which showed the sprints of the players of the average sprints of the club, and Leicester was far beyond any other club. Like if this is a graph,
Sure.
Leicester is over here, and the rest of the clubs are over here on the graph.
Yeah.
There's a long distance between them. So I mean that shows about Leeds, man. That's an example.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds have actually covered the most distance because of the
Distance.
open style of play. They don't give a damn about leaving their defense out. But no, they've actually adapted to that also. I think their defensive mid, I forgot his name, man. Dallas, no. Click used to play in that position too.
Phillips and Klitsch. Yeah.
Yeah, Phillips. He was phenomenal when he started, but now I think he kind of was redundant in that role also. So they did bench him for some time. But no,
Yep.
man, I think Ailing, the defensive line, Bamford specifically. Look at Rafinha, man. What a revelation
Amazing,
from Rennes and
amazing.
came into the Premier League. What an addition. So yeah, I think these players are going to be massive next season also. But I think they need more addition, more firepower, man. They need to buy more players, man. Is my personal listing. Rodrigo is not doing justice to his role, to the transfer money he came in with from Valencia. I don't think he's been a great starting 11 player. He's a squad player, is what I feel. So
Yeah, and that I mean that also speaks about the manager, man. Like it doesn't matter the price tag that you spend, you prove your point, and then you're in the club. And that honestly, a lot of us big managers also have failed in the past where they are so stuck because of their management, maybe that we spend money on the player, so now we better play him or use him and stuff, and clearly by Rodrigo. But honestly, last few weeks, Rodrigo post his comeback from injury, he's showing why he deserves to be in the. Although he's been coming on as a substitute, but he's been making a difference and he's been assisting or getting those goals in. So yeah,
true.
Do you
Anything,
guys
Rowan?
think that
Yeah.
strikers like Ollie Watkins and Patrick Bamford, there'll be bids in this summer for them? Do you guys see them playing at bigger clubs in terms of personality, in terms of reputation? Because I feel that both these strikers have done so well this season, and Ollie Watkins is pretty young. He's out there, and he's a strong striker.
Maybe I carry a bias, maybe. Man, I don't think both these players will fit in the top six. They can't play for Giants, man. The problem, again, I believe, it all comes down to how you've been keeping yourself, to your well-being, overall, the players around you. It depends on the coordination, the manager who's there for you. Ollie Watkins comes in from the championship. It'll be too big a jump for him in 2 years to get on with a giant. And when it comes to Bamford, I don't think technically he's that great, man. I think the servicing that he's gotten is way more than what other strikers have gotten. And still he's gotten, okay, good, decent enough. 15 goals is good for a championship striker. But still, I don't think he's very good technically, man. He knows how to cover the ground. He knows how to press onto opponents. Technically, he's not a good striker. That's just my opinion. He misses so many chances. He takes one in every three chances. That's just, again, I don't think that's a
But
good number 9. It just comes to the team's build up, how Marcelo Bielsa has shaped them up. Very open, very bombardic again. But it just comes down to that technically he still needs to develop his game more. Not good enough for the England squad or for a Big Six team. What do you think, Ankit?
you wouldn't take them over Divock Origi at this point of time, who's really not done much this season, who's not got enough game time also. Because
I
even
think
Jamie Vardy
you're
came
pouring
from the
salt on my
championship.
wound.
Even Jamie Vardy came from the championship, and Jamie Vardy did phenomenal for
That's true.
himself. Ollie Watkins was the top scorer in the championship.
I agree. I totally agree there, dude. But again, the problem is Liverpool will not be able to nurture Oli Watkins in the starting 11 role. In my personal opinion, he'll become a squad player. Bamford will become a squad player. I wouldn't take good players to be squad players. Origi is average, man. Origi works once in a blue moon. These players are consistent. But again, as I told you, performance-driven approach will only come out, in my opinion, if they play for mid-level clubs. Look at Calvert-Lewin. He's working well with Everton. Look at Richarlison. These players are working well with Everton. Iwobi came in from Arsenal to join Everton as a winger. Initially, he did work out well for them in the 1920 season, but now he was a bit redundant in that role too. Which is
Thank
where they
God.
try to search out for.
Thank
which is
God
where
we
they
sold him
try
for
to search out
35
for a-
million. Otherwise, you can't get 35 million for a player like that.
That was a scam.
It was.
Well, there
Even
are so
45
many.
million for Fabio Silva, man. I was shocked. How can you,
Yeah.
spend 45 million on an 18-year-old boy, man?
Amazing.
Like, that's
Yeah.
too much. And he's not even fully developed.
Yeah. But speaking about Bamford, whether leaving or going to another club or not, to be honest, I feel, I mean, you can argue about it, but I don't see Bamford going anywhere. I don't see anyone in the squad other than Rafinha going anywhere because the story that they have created this season, I don't know, the camaraderie and the whole feeling within the team would be so strong, and playing for that manager out there and that team. I mean, I don't know, just coming from championship and straight almost cementing a position in the top 10. I feel it's a big achievement, and like also Uday, like how you mentioned the big six, these people, whether they'll get their chances or not in the team, I don't think they are. Ollie Watkins or Bamford wants to just be in a position where Origi is today, or in a position where, I don't know, like in Arsenal there is like Ankit or someone is there. I don't think they want to be in that position. They want to be playing day in, day out. So, especially coming for championship, you rather play all your games, the majority of the games, than just play 3 games or 4 games in a season.
Yeah. So, any parting thoughts, guys, before we close the show? I think we'll discuss more in the next episode.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
I think we're just going to miss the Premier League so much. Ever since the league started, since after the COVID break, it's been constant football for 1.5 years now, or 1 year, I think, constantly. And I'm already like feeling it. I'm feeling heavy about it.
Well, don't be heavy for too long. Luckily, we got the Euros coming up, so we are diving straight into football. And elongated period, as soon as Euros are going to finish, we're going to have a transfer news anyway would have started going around. So luckily, I mean, unfortunately, fortunately, football has, like Rohan said, it's been with us during these tough times. It's the only lifting spirit that has been with us, and it's been truly amazing time for football fans.
Totally. I won't give a proper prologue to the thing. The show doesn't deserve an ending. So let's just put it where Ankit has ended. The show is adept enough. So I'll